Na kinara wa upinzani Bwana Raila Odinga amepata kufanya kikao na wawakilishi wa wanafunzi kutoka vyuo mbalimbali nchini Kenya ili kupata kujadili masuala yanayoweza kufungamana na masuala ya shule na vile suala mzima la HELB na mambo kama hayo. Karibu sana ndani ya SM Trends. Hakikisha kwamba unazidi kutufuatilia kwa faida ya kupata hizi na stori zingine nyingi punde zinapotokea. Kinara wa upinzani Bwana Raila Odinga ameweza kufanya kikao na wawakilishi wa wanafunzi almaarufu kama student leaders kutoka chuo mbalimbali katika nchi ya Kenya. Odinga amepata kujumuika na gavana wa Siaya Bwana James Orengo na vile Babu Owino ambaye ni mbunge wa Embakasi East ili kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba kikao hicho kimeweza kufanikiwa ama kufua dafu. Kati ya masuala yaliyoweza kujadiliwa katika mazungumzo haya ni swala la HELB na vile swala la gharama ya maisha na masuala mengine mengi ambayo makundi ya wanafunzi yameweza kuhakikisha kwamba yameweza kushughulikiwa. Swala lingine lililoweza kujitokeza ni ule uongozi unaweza kufanyika kati ya wanafunzi kutoka vyuo mbalimbali katika nchi ya Kenya. Kwa upande wake Babu Owino ameweza kuhakikisha kwamba amewapatia wanafunzi hawa njia za kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba serikali imepata kushinikizwa kuweza kufanya yale ambayo ungependa yaweze kutekelezwa. Lingana na Owino, aliweza kusema kwamba serikali haijaweza kutoa mwafaka ambao unaweza kuelekeza kwamba shughuli za kuweza kuwalipia wanafunzi karo zinafanyika vipi, na haijaweza kueleweka wazi kwamba ni tukio ambalo litaweza kufanyikaje na serikali itaweza kutumia mbinu zipi ili kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba inapata kutambua wanafunzi ambao wanahitaji kusaidiwa. Hebu tupate kumsikiliza Odinga akizungumza siku ya leo.
Kabari was still under the Portuguese colonialism. South Africa, apartheid was ruling supreme in South Africa. Then the student movement those days actually fought and assisted the freedom fighters. We also organized scholarships for young people who were there in the bush to come to Europe and get education at that time. Now, when we came back here, the university students from Nairobi were very fundamental in supporting the movement for change in the country. And they suffered for that. Jim here was the student leader when I was myself member of the academic staff at the University of Nairobi. They used to be arrested. You see the central police station is just next door there. And then there was Mzungu. What was the name of that Mzungu? Who was the Nairobi area. But then there was another one called Patrick Shaw, who was very notorious. He coming down there to beat up the students. But they stood very firm. There were quite a number of them who were arrested, some of them were expelled. After him, the late Okiombaka. Before that, there was a Wori Wakataka. And then there were several other student leaders who were actually arrested or expelled from the university at that time. That is a time when the erosion of academic freedom had started in our institutions. And this has continued to this struggle for freedom of movement, freedom of association, freedom of speech, academic freedom at the university has been very much part and parcel of the struggle for democratization in our country in general. And you see that there is always attempt to try to muzzle the student voice. There's no doubt that this amendment was moved by one who is now the Minister for Defense to deprive the students with the right to elect their leaders of choice by bringing the so-called delegate system. I see. But as Bob was told you, this matter is coming back to Parliament. And our instruction to our members is to ensure that you go back to universal franchise. One man, one vote. One man, one vote, 1 shilling. Okay? We will work to see that this happens. Then, this issue of funding model which they brought here, it's very confusing. It is not quite clear because they're talking about those without any means who will get 100% support, those with some little bit of ability or support, and then those who don't require support at all. And you ask yourself, where is the barometer? Are you going to test the temperature? You will see that so and so's parents are employed, but that fellow who is employed is actually supporting 10 students or children. Somebody is probably earning less down here, but he's only supporting one student. This student went to a national school. Then it's assumed that the student has got means. How do you know? Going to a national school is just because of the marks that you received at the examination. And maybe your uncle can offer to sponsor you. Or just a friend with the family can offer to sponsor you because you've done well. That does not mean that this fellow is going to sponsor you at the university. So all these things they're coming about with are things which are not being tested. They are basically like people who are walking in the dark. The issue of using police in the institutions of learning is again something that we have condemned very strongly. That universities should be allowed to do their things, and the police should not be used excessively in the universities. Students should be able to engage and dialogue with the university authorities. That is the civilized way of running universities. But we are dealing with a state that has gone rogue too early. Too early. And that is where we are having these problems. Now, we set down ourselves as members of Azimio and looked at.
Viongozi hao wa upinzani wameweza kuwasihi wanafunzi ama wawakilishi wa wanafunzi almaarufu kama student leaders kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba kile ambacho wanaweza kufanya kama upinzani wataweza kuwasapoti kwa njia hiyo, lakini yale ambayo serikali inapaswa kufanya na hajaweza kufanya wataweza kuwapatia mwafaka wa kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba wamepata kusikilizwa na wamepata kupata njia ambazo zitaweza kufua dafu katika shughuli za kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba wamepigania masuala ambayo yanafungamana na elimu ya wanafunzi ambayo wanatoka katika familia ambazo zinahitaji kusaidiwa. Odinga amesema kwamba ataweza kuhakikisha kwamba amepata kushirikiana na makundi haya ili kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba serikali imeweza kuwajibika na kuweza kuhakikisha kwamba wanafunzi wanaotoka katika familia ambazo zinahitaji msaada wanapata kupata msaada huo na wanapata kusaidika. La sivyo basi wataweza kuhakikisha kwamba shughuli za maandamano zitaweza kufanyika hadi pale serikali hiyo itapata kuhakikisha kwamba matakwa ya kwao yanapata kusikilizwa na wanafunzi ambao hawana uwezo wa kuweza kupata mafunzo kutokana na wazazi wao kwa chochole wameweza kuhakikisha kwamba wamepata mafunzo hayo kwa njia ambayo serikali itaweza kupanga.
Living conditions in Africa is far much below the other countries which do not have as much resources as Africa has. And that is what we said we wanted to correct. And it can be corrected. But it can only be corrected by empowering African people. Right from the African child, going up. And here, you must talk about the girl child and the boy child. Give them equal opportunity to be able to realize their natural talents. This is why we said that we want to start by creating free primary, secondary, and even university education. Then, because then you empower the people. But we also talk about the quality of education. What kind of education are you giving these people? See, today we have a problem here, where you have got universities all over. When we were here, when Jim was a student here, they are some of the first students to join University of Nairobi. It used to be University College of Nairobi. I was employed by University College of Nairobi, which was a constituent college of the University of East Africa, whose headquarters were in Makerere, in Kampala. So Nairobi was a campus, Dar es Salaam was a campus, and Makerere a campus. That time. Then, of course, eventually we got University of Nairobi. Then now eventually we started Kenyatta College. We used to call it Kenco. It also became a university. Then the proliferation of universities now all over the country. We now have, I don't know how many public universities. How many? Huh?